Welcome to the Peak Mindset and Leadership Academy, the podcast for entrepreneurs, leaders, and individuals who are tired of spinning their wheels and want to see progress. I'll be sharing my clear method, tactical strategies, and powerful interviews with individuals who have already climbed their own mountains. The goal of this podcast is one thing and one thing only: to get you to take action. So let's get clear, get moving, and get you those results you've been looking for. Let's go. Welcome to the Peak Mindset and Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Sear, and today I want to share a strategy with you that can help you overcome some obstacles and allow you to move your business or your life forward. And I'd like to begin with a question. Have you ever felt like you were stuck? Like you were putting in all of the hours, the effort, the drive and desire was there, but at the end of the day, you just weren't getting those results that you were hoping for? Or maybe you're being pulled in all kinds of different directions and you're just not clear on which path is the best one for you. Well, I've been there, and I've worked with different individuals, leaders, and entrepreneurs who have been there as well. And what I've learned is this, that it's not a problem of the opportunity. It's not a problem of desire or drive or effort. It's really a problem of clarity. And today, what I want to share with you is my clear method. And over the next few episodes, we'll go through each step. And the first is clarity. And CLEAR stands for clarity, leadership, energy, action, and results and review. And today, what I want to start with is the foundation of everything, which is clarity. Because let's be honest, you can't lead effectively, you can't sustain your energy and take meaningful action, and then even review or reward yourself if you don't really know where you're going. So let's get clear. Before we define what clarity is, I think it's better if we define why clarity actually matters. Because when your why is really good and really strong, the what really becomes easy. So I want to tell you a story about someone. We're going to call the person Sarah. And Sarah had a very profitable business. And from the outside, she looked successful. But on the inside, she was exhausted. She was frustrated. She said she felt like she was on a hamster wheel and wasn't really going anywhere. And I finally asked her, what does success look like for you? And after pausing for a second, she said, I guess making more money or making my team grow. Aren't those the things that I'm supposed to want? And that's when I knew Sarah didn't have a problem with execution and getting her team better and growing her business. She had a clarity problem. I mean, she had a ladder that was leaned up against the wall, and it might not have even been the right wall for her to be climbing in the first place. And this issue or this problem is a lot more common than you think. We get so busy doing and chasing after the things that we think we're supposed to be doing. And all of these things we're told by society, by our family, within our industry, or even social media, telling us what we should want, that we actually forget to sit down for a second and say, hey, is this what I really want? So clarity is about cutting through all of that noise and getting real honest with ourselves about some fundamental questions. Question number one, where am I going? What's the vision? Figure out where you are and how to get there, but make sure the destination you're picking is the one that you want. Question number two, why does it matter? Right? You're going to want to look at your core values and see that those actually mesh with your goals, because if they don't, you're constantly fighting and one's going to win out, and generally you're self-sabotaging and not getting anywhere. And the third question I would ask is, what's getting in my way? Like, what's really stopping me? And are some of these self-imposed, or are these obstacles that are external? And you can have somebody help you sit down and figure that part out and overcome those things. So when we're talking about clarity, the why is important, because when you have clarity, decision making becomes easier. Priorities become obvious. Energy stops getting wasted on things that don't even matter. And you can finally start making some real progress towards something that actually fulfills you. So, how do we get clear? Well, I want to give you a framework that you can use right now to make this a little bit simpler. If you're driving, if you're working out or otherwise preoccupied, just make a mental note that this is something you're going to want to come back to. So, this is broken up into three simple parts. Part number one, you need to define your vision, not someone else's. So, get a piece of paper, get out your laptop, use the notes app that's on your cell phone, and I want you to take a moment to really think about and articulate what you actually want. I don't want you to think about what you think you should want or what society thinks you should have or any of those other things, but I want you to think about something that really lights you up, that really brings you some fulfillment. Here's the exercise. Take out that piece of paper, open that up, whatever it is you're going to do to write these things down. I want you to set a timer on your phone, and I want you to start writing out all of those things that just make you feel really good inside. And don't worry about how realistic it is. So these can be things that pertain to your business, to your life, whether it's something physical or mental or emotional, it's financial, it's family, it's something. Just keep writing. And the key here is not to edit yourself. Don't say, oh, maybe I shouldn't, or scratch it off the page. Just keep writing. Just keep putting these things down. And the key is to get past that critic and just tap into the things that you really want. Because at the end of the day, these things that you desire are going to become your compass, and they're going to give you direction to the things that are going to make you feel fulfilled. Part number two is to identify your core values. So, separate piece of paper. Um, you may not need to set a 5-minute timer here, but what you want to do is write down those core values because your goals and values should align. And if they're not, you're always going to feel a conflict. And in a sense, it's like a game of tug of war with equal strength on either side. You're not going to really go anywhere. And this is where self-sabotage can come in sometimes because you're just not aligned in the things that you want with the things that you truly believe in. So how do you identify yours? Well, I want you to think about a time. This is an easy exercise. Think about a time when you really felt fulfilled and you were enjoying it and you were actually proud of yourself for what was going on. So think back on that. What was happening and then what made it meaningful? And when you can define that, you're starting to hone in on those core values. And then when you've done that, if you want to get on the opposite side of the coin, I want you to think about a time that you felt resentful or drained or compromised. What value was being violated? And common values here include things like your freedom, creativity, security, growth, family, impact, authenticity, excellence, right? You can choose yours. It could be more than those, but try to keep it around 3 to 5 as you're getting started. And then part three, name your obstacles, right? And here's where you got to get kind of honest with yourself and be truthful. You want to figure out what's really standing between you and your vision. Your vision and hitting it, that's success to you. So what's blocking you? Are some of these things put there by yourself? Are they little mental roadblocks? Or could they be things outside of you which don't have as much impact unless we allow them to? Like I don't have enough time. If you sat with me for a little bit, I'm sure we could find a few minutes a day for you to get moving. I need more money. Well, there's ways to overcome that. And sometimes the thing you're looking for doesn't take money. Or maybe the market's too competitive if we're in the business world. And that might be true, but it's usually just sort of an external thing that we're projecting on something inside of us. So the real obstacles are usually on the inside, like we have a fear. Maybe we're afraid of failing. That's a common thing that's out there. Some people actually are afraid of succeeding. Like what are people going to think if I'm doing more, or if I have more, or if I become a different person? Sometimes we're not comfortable with what that might be. We may have limiting beliefs about what we're actually capable of. Perfectionism, there's a huge flaw of mine. It held me back from even starting certain things. I mean, years and years ago, I started learning how to do magic tricks, and I did a couple. And then when I started to learn how to do more, it came down to possibly performing for people. And I just didn't think that I was polished enough to do those things, and I would just delay, 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 and so much time goes by, and it was wasted time, it was wasted opportunity. We may have a lack of boundaries that we set. We're just too easy to say yes, or to just kind of go with the flow of things, just not to upset or rock the boat. And we might have unclear priorities. And when that's the case, we start to scatter our focus. And that's kind of back to what we were talking about in the beginning when I asked you that question. Maybe are you being drawn into so many different things that you don't know which path is the best path for you? So ask yourself, if I'm being completely honest, what am I doing or not doing that's keeping me stuck? Now, this is going to take courage. And if you do it in front of a mirror, it feels kind of strange. But this is where transformation begins. And if you like a guy like Jordan Peterson, he had a wonderful question. You sit down by yourself and you try and figure something out. And you just ask yourself, to make your life better, what is the one thing that I could do, that I should do, that I actually would do? And if you get busy doing that thing, life gets pretty cool. So what I'd like to do is give you a concrete example of how this would be playing out. And I worked with a business owner, and let's call him Marcus. And he wanted to scale his company. He thought, now's the time, let's bring it to the next level and start bringing in more income. And he kept saying that he needed some clarity on the growth strategy. So we did this exercise, this vision exercise, and something interesting happened. What he wrote down was, I want to build a business that doesn't require me to be there every minute of every day. I want to be able to take my kids to school. I want to coach their sports teams, and I want to spend more time with my wife. And his vision wasn't really about scaling his business, it was about freedom. And that's a completely different problem to solve. And once Marcus got clear on that, everything changed. Instead of focusing on growth for growth's sake, he started focusing on building systems, hiring the right team, and creating leverage. And his values, his family, his freedom, trust in others, that became his filter for every other decision. And the obstacles that he came across, the fear of delegating, right? He had a belief that nobody could do the things as well as he could. And he identified himself as the indispensable founder. Once he could see those obstacles clearly, he could address them. He got a coach. He worked on his mindset. He learned to trust his team. And within a year or so, he had the business and, more importantly, the lifestyle that he actually wanted. Now, I'm going to throw a little book plug in there. There's a book by a wonderful coach, Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. Definitely worth the purchase and the read. But this little area here, there's a whole chapter dedicated to it, and give you some more examples and some more digging. Wonderful, well worth it. And this is the power of clarity, right? It changes what you do and how you do it. So here's another quick example, and this will be more personal to you. I want you to just take a minute and think about your last week, right? And how many things in the week did you say yes to that didn't really align with your vision or your values? Like, how many hours did you spend on activities that didn't really move you toward your goals? So clarity isn't just about the big picture, right? It's about all of these daily choices that we make. And when you're clear, you start saying no to the things that don't move you toward your goals, and you start saying yes to all of those right things. All right, let's make this actionable for you right now. Here's what I want you to do before the next episode. Don't delay it. Don't start watching other episodes. Just get busy doing this one. Step number one, I want you to block out 30 minutes of uninterrupted time. No phone, no TV, no laptop, no nothing. Put in your calendar, pick your date, pick your time. It's only 30 minutes, and this could make a change for the rest of your life. Okay. Number two, I want you to do the 3 exercises that we talked about. First one, write out your 3-year vision. If I couldn't fail, what would I do for the next period of time to achieve it in 3 years? Number two, you want to identify your top 3 to 5 core values. And then number 3, I want you to name your real obstacles, the ones that are on the inside. Okay, step 3, create what I call a clarity statement. This is 1 or 2 sentences that capture your vision and your values, and I want you to keep it somewhere where you'll see it all the time. So here's a template. Okay, I am building, and then insert your vision. By honoring, insert your values, so that, and then put in your why. And I'll give you an example of one of the ones that I have written down. I am building a coaching practice that serves 100 entrepreneurs. There's the vision. By honoring authenticity, growth, and impact so that I can help others break through their barriers. There's the values. And then my why is while creating freedom for me and my family. So I want you to write yours down, put it somewhere where you'll see it. In fact, Brendan Burchard had a really cool idea. Put it in your phone, set an alarm that goes off repeatedly each day at different periods of time so you'll see this message and keep it at the front of your mind. And then number 4, I want you to choose one of the obstacles that you've written down, and I want you to create a plan, and then I want you to act on that plan as quickly as you can to start to dismantle it and take it apart. And the sooner you do it, the sooner you'll be moving towards your goals. So here's what I know. You've already got everything that you need to create the life and the business that you want, but you can't get there without clarity. You can't build something meaningful if you don't even know what it is that you're building. The clear method will get you there. And it starts with clarity because that's the foundation. And in our next episode, we're actually going to talk about leadership and specifically self leadership, because how do you plan on leading other people if you can't even get yourself to do the right things? But for now, what I'd like you to do is do the work and get clear. It might be uncomfortable. It might even challenge some of the assumptions that you've been carrying around with yourself for a long period of time, but that's good because that's growth and that's what we're after. And I want you to thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If this episode has resonated with you in any way, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love for you to share it. If you'd like to share your clarity statement, I'd love to read it. And there will be a link down below. But for those who are listening, it's shawn.cccinc at gmail.com. And Shawn is SHAWN. So email me that, and I'll try to get to it and even respond to see how things are going. Thank you so much. Until next time, stay clear, stay focused, and keep moving forward for those results.